Welcome on into 19 on the Clock, your Tri-State High School and College Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pushkar. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Jackson McCarty, back after a little Christmas break for the two of us.
Semi-expected, semi-not. We had discussed 2 weeks ago, being like, hey, what should we do for this? We were like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and then you were like, hey, I work on this day, and I can't leave until this time. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll just come back on New Year's.
Right. It strategically made more sense to just give everybody a break for the holidays because while it would have been nice to maybe, kind of push ahead to some more of the Holiday Hardwood Classic, which we had the chance to talk about, I believe, the last episode we did, we'll get to look back at some of those games and be more inferral about what we learned from the setup. And then, of course, we have so many big college football games happening with Tri-State teams implicated, happening just tomorrow. Well, I guess today, whenever the episode releases, and then a game on Saturday as well that we need to make sure to talk about.
Yes, absolutely. And, I would be remiss if we didn't mention the Miami-Arizona Bowl game.
Yes. Because
we did miss that in that whole mess of figuring things out, which they did lose 3-18 against Fresno State in the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. They looked like they were having fun out there, though, and that's all that matters.
I've been at that game when it was the Barstool Arizona Bowl.
Yeah.
It was a really good time, genuinely. And I bet Snoop Dogg, because, it's so hard to mess up an experience in Tucson. That's just such a nice place to just be.
Well, that Saturday was such a, good
bowl.
I shouldn't say that good bowl because it's the best bowl experiences. Maybe not the best games because, I watched Penn State,
Bowl
Clemson,
and all that was in it.
Yeah, but you had, the Pinstripe Bowl, you had the Fenway Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
you had the Pop-Tart Bowl, you had the Arizona Bowl, where it all looked like it was games where fans can go and have a lot more fun and relax. Also, the Boca Raton Bowl looked like it was a good time.
It's also a situation where it's just so much, this is the best time of college football season for me, personally, just because you feel like you get to watch everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Because, obviously there is no watching everybody in week 4 of the season. Because there's 20 different games happening per window.
I was going to say, I do my best to watch 4 games.
Correct.
And then I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And you kind of jump around a little bit with the 4th one.
I try to, if I can nail down 4 or 5, I feel like I've had a successful weekend.
Yeah.
But either way, with this slate, this past Saturday, I woke up, had a football game on already at 11. I think it was Northwestern's game. Mm-hmm. And then we rolled through that a little bit later, and North Texas was playing, and you get so much more of a completionist setup out of it this time of year, even though nobody's playing.
Yeah,
even though there's all the opt-outs.
I'll say this. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say this. It's the only nice thing about ESPN having the rights to almost every bowl is that they can't show them all. They line them all up so that they are sequential and not simultaneous.
Correct.
Obviously, the Arizona Bowl did overlap, I think, with the Pinstripe and the Pop-Tart Bowl a little bit. Mm-hmm. And because that game was on CW instead.
Right.
But yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah, but and you still get to enjoy some. I was going back to look through the schedule because I wanted to actually have my points.
Sure.
The East Carolina Pittsburgh game I had fun with.
Yeah.
You get to see Mason Heinschel, who is gonna still be at Pitt obviously next year and is going to be an important guy. We got to see maybe the 2 largest failures of the season play each other: Penn State and Clemson. Call a spade a spade. That's not me trying to be mean, but
oh no, I watched. I mean, I had heard from Clemson fans who were like, "Don't watch this game. It's a crime."
That was why we wanted to watch it.
And then I was like, "Well, you know what? Now I kind of want to see him fail."
Hey, also, why is Garrett Riley to blame? It's Dabo's offense. You fired Garrett Riley. Okay, sorry.
But one thing that I love that you just mentioned is that you get to watch to see what's coming up for the next year for a lot of these teams.
Correct.
And that's something you're going to be able to watch this Saturday in the Liberty Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That is
presumably.
Well, you'll get to see a little bit of something.
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, assuming that UC doesn't bring a different person to party.
Yes. Let me get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Because Navy is playing Cincinnati in the Liberty Bowl as a 4:30 game on Saturday. So for all these matchups that we're going to talk about, I did look up the historical records. Cincinnati and Navy are 3-3.
Yes.
Which was surprising to me because in my head I was like, well, they were in the same conference at one point, but I realized I think Cincinnati actually had left.
Well, yeah,
shortly after.
I think Navy
went independent.
I think Navy came in, and 2 years later, UC was gone.
That makes about sense. So the Bearcats are 3-1 since 2017. Navy got the first 2 wins in 1940. Something was going on then, and 1956.
I remember that one.
You remember the 1956 one?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that your favorite one to put on ESPN Classic?
Yeah, Curly Sanderson had a fantastic game in that.
I hate that I kind of believe you that was probably a player's name.
No.
Now this is going to be an interesting game. So I wrote down these notes yesterday on Monday, and then the Inquirer was very nice to post an update of interviews with the players. I assumed that it was just going to be Samaj Jones under center. He's a freshman. He has a little bit of play time this year. Or it would be Brady Lichtenberg, who is a fifth-year senior. The coach, Scott Satterfield, said that he is planning on starting Lichtenberg, which I think is fine, good.
Yeah, I think
give him his flowers for sticking with the team for all his time and things like that. But they are planning on splitting playtime during the game.
Yeah, because for sure you want to reward the guy for hanging tough, being a Bearcat all the way through. He is part of the program, wanted to contribute in however way he could, even if that wasn't on the field. That said, if Samaj Jones is supposed to be a realistic possible starting candidate next year for you guys, he's 2 for 2, 53 yards and a touchdown passing in his career.
Yeah, that was that Northwestern State game this year, if I'm not mistaken.
That can't happen. You have got to see a little bit more. I understand practices, whatever. Practice is not game. And Navy is going to be one of the most full rosters you can possibly imagine.
Yes.
In the era of transfer portal. So this is as good of a real simulation test as you are going to possibly get this late in the year. In the
era of transfer portal and in the era of opting out of bowl games to go to the draft, because not many of those players are going to the draft either.
Navy remains impervious. Yeah. Even though I wonder if Blake Horvath could go to the draft.
He would probably be the one I would pick.
But I also wonder if, because they have to do service time.
Yeah. But
there was a linebacker that
I don't know the rules, but can't you commit to doing it later, or do you have to serve it immediately after you're through the academy?
I thought that you had to serve it immediately after the academy, but I believe that there was an Army linebacker, an Army edge rusher, that got to go and got to defer his Andre Carter II.
Defer, that's the word.
Yeah, and he deferred his military service.
Yeah, because I know. I know, like in South Korea, all men are required to enlist at some point, but you can defer it and do some workarounds and things like that. I just kind of assumed that there was something like that.
Yeah, it happens so scarce.
Yeah,
that you don't know the rules because it's it must just not be a thing. Nobody does it.
Well, and I can understand the military academies being like, well, if we let you go play and then you get injured and then you come back, what are you going to do for us type thing? And
right.
Fine. But notably, big thing to look out for is Cyrus Allen is 1 touchdown from tying a school record 13 receiving touchdowns in a season.
Very cool.
And I did love that in the interview with Lichtenberg, they said that Cyrus has been in his ear of being like, hey, man, pass to me. And Brady was like, yeah, we're going to throw it to you. You're the best receiver. It's okay.
Do you think you got to 12 touchdowns by not being... like the guy that we want to get it to?
Well, and Sorsby has been on record of being like, yeah, he just always pesters me about throwing to him, stuff like that. So it's like he just does it to all his QBs, and you know what?
But hey,
good on him.
I about to say that's the kind of receiver I want. I want a dude who's like, hey, give me the ball.
Yeah.
It might drive you a little crazy, from time to time, but dude wants to win. Dude wants to have the pressure, and he also wants to have the record.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because if you get 2 touchdowns, that's a school record.
That I could see that being the intent.
Yeah.
Like, just go get them 2 touchdowns.
Just air it out.
Right.
You're going to air it out anyway in this game.
Correct. The bowl game doesn't make that much of a difference.
No.
It's just guys that want to prove what their role are or have that last moment before they're done. Just let's get a record.
And it can give him a little bit of that extra juice if he would go towards looking at things like the draft in the future and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Because I want to say he is a senior, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't have that right in front of me, and so don't listen to me.
It's okay.
But
I forgive you.
Thank you. But yeah, so that's the Liberty Bowl. I think that'll be a fun game. I don't think you're gonna. It's not gonna be the Cincinnati team that we have been seeing this year, because I do think Brendan Sorsby was such a vital piece of that offense. Mm-hmm. And we're still waiting to hear from where he's going to end up going in the transfer portal once that all opens up in the start of January.
Yes.
So let's move on now, Jackson, to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. We got the Cotton Bowl.
We do.
I want to say this. I would have really loved it if once this matchup got decided, they were like, actually, we're going to put the Fiesta Bowl here and move the Cotton Bowl to the semifinals, because it's Ohio State versus Miami.
Yes.
And Jackson, do you know what the first football game I can remember watching? It's ironically not with it was never with my parents. It was with my grandparents.
Okay.
I can tell you exactly why. My parents, my dad worked in school photography. They would have annual meetings in like Las Vegas or wherever, and they had both flown out in 2003 at like the start of January while I was on winter break. Okay. So I was staying with my grandparents.
Right.
That was when the national championship Fiesta Bowl game between Miami and Ohio State was played. And I remember being allowed to stay up because I was just sitting on the couch and watching that game the entire time.
Oh, that rules.
And I also, it's funny, it's the only time my granddad ever yelled at me because I was messing around with the remote. And he's like, and I like almost broke a little bit of the plastic. But that's, again, this isn't my therapy session. So
these are the formidable moments.
So Ohio State is 3-2 against the Hurricanes. That includes a 2003 national championship win and a vacated 2010 win.
Yes.
So technically 2-2.
Yes. Yeah. When you strip it all back.
So here's my thing with Ohio State moving forward. I need to see. We have established and we are aware that the Buckeyes passing game is good.
Julian Sand is a fantastic completionist.
Yes,
he's a very accurate quarterback. Which
it was really funny because I think it was Christmas Day. I was over with my family and my dad had put on. They were replaying the 2015 national championship, 2014 to 2015 season. That was Urban Meyer's win with Ohio State, and I was like watching it. And I'm like, man. They just gave the ball to Ezekiel Elliott and ran it. Like, it's so different in just 10 years of how much more passing the Buckeyes are doing, which is, like, kind of nice to see. But I think you need to get more from the run game if you're going to succeed through this whole playoff. Because I think that was their big issue against Indiana, was not being able to establish a run game. But can really throw the ball.
Right.
So it's like, I'm sure Miami's going to be looking out for that. You got Jacoby Thomas and Bryce Fitzgerald, who are some of the D-backs for them. Both Thomas with 4 and Fitzgerald with 6 interceptions on the year so far. They both are leading the team. Miami has a good passing game too. It's really going to, I think, just be who can control the ground game better.
That Miami passing game falls apart fast, though. We have seen some real cataclysmic meltdown. The Louisville game, I cannot get the Louisville game out of my head.
Let me say this. Miami's a coin flip, though.
They are. I will also, my big thing on this game is these two teams were the most untouchable teams at different points in the season. Both of these teams, to me, felt more untouchable than Indiana does now at their peaks. Because when Miami just bulldozed. And I know this is, whatever. When they bulldozed USF, after USF had just beaten Boise State and Florida, and looked really, really good. And then all of a sudden they were like, nope, 50 points. Goodbye. It was like oh, wait, hold on. Carson Beck has figured out what made him the guy that Georgia chose to be their future.
Even the Notre Dame win.
The Notre Dame one was great. Their D line is absurd. Reuben Bain is probably the best edge rusher in the country, or D lineman in the country. I would include defensive tackles in that race as well.
Sure.
Watching Miami's first game in this playoff setup against A&M. I do not trust Mario Cristobal as an elite head coach. I
agree with that.
He is top 3 at worst recruiter.
Yeah.
The dude was going to gather talent at an absurd rate.
Yes.
He is not an elite head coach. I do think Ryan Day is. I also think that because last night I thought about this game because obviously I knew we were going to talk about it. I flipped back and forth. I was like, well, there are moments where that Indiana game really did bring me to life. Was I just being ignorant to Ohio State having more holes than I thought they were because their schedule wasn't as great as I thought it was and whatever. But what I come back to is the Michigan game from national title year. They needed to lose that game.
Yeah.
They needed to lose the first Oregon game. They rectified both by hoisting a national championship. If they didn't lose that Indiana game, they have a similar in my head, be it Miami, be it next week, they have a similar collapse. They are not champions. That game had to happen eventually where they just not everything was clicking, and they've got it out of their system. I think that they beat Miami, and I think they beat them more comfortably than a lot of people are willing to admit because Ohio State, if they've proven anything, is a team that learns from their screw-ups.
I think the biggest thing for Ohio State in that Indiana game was that they almost arguably beat themselves.
Yes.
Because you had the field goal attempt at 27 yards in the fourth quarter that misses. Mm-hmm. That was the biggest swing in the win probability and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then it was the third quarter rush down the middle from Sayan where he got stopped and turns over on downs.
Mm-hmm.
It never felt like it wasn't like Sayan was throwing a bunch of picks. It wasn't like Bo Jackson was getting hit and dropping the ball. They controlled it. It just was like an inch short versus there's a very clear problem here.
And again,
and I think I was going to say, and I think also it's like Indiana was just finally the first team to really match up more perfectly than any other team that Ohio State or that Indiana had played this year.
Well, because the best games that Ohio State had on their schedule this year, outside of that, was supposed to be Penn State, but they were falling apart by that point.
Mm-hmm. Which arguably the Indiana-Penn State was a closer game than people wanted to.
Not even arguably. It was inarguably closer. And a really weird case study is going to be something that when at the end of the year, we're going to look back on, especially and just be like, what was that? Why did Penn State's talent show up that week? But it was Michigan, who at this point things seem to indicate that Michigan knew what Sharon was up to at this point in time, or if the admin didn't, players did, because the reports are that he was pretty open and
erratic.
Correct.
I think would be the best way of putting it.
Yeah, and that it wasn't some big giant secret on campus. Mm-hmm. So you have to wonder how locked in they are for that rivalry game with all this stuff going on in the peripheral. Did they have USC? I know they didn't have Oregon.
Ohio State?
Yeah.
I don't know. They did not.
It's
Ohio State didn't have many.
So what? It's Illinois
tough games. It was Illinois was one.
They got a hot UCLA who was still only had 3 wins at this point in the season.
It was Texas.
Washington.
Texas at the start of the year.
Texas at the start of the year. I like the Washington game. The Washington game does mean something to me because DeMond Williams is good, and I'm not a crazy Jed Fish guy, but he knows how to build a competent program. And then it's Michigan, And so, like, yeah, you're right. Indiana was the first real, like, this is something. And I think I might have gaslit myself a little bit into being like, oh, well, we only think it's not a great win because Ohio State just did that to them. And it's like, well, no, maybe at the end of the year it just wasn't that good of a win. All that to say, and then we can move on if you'd like. Please. But the game of inches that they lost against Indiana, it is usually a game of yards with Miami when they lose games. Again, they melt down.
Yes.
Like Louisville's defense got them the amount of wins they had. Like their defense, it was like an 8-win defense on its own, removing the offense. It was an incredible unit.
And I think Ohio State's defense is
better.
If not better, at the very minimum, on the same level.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think they have more game wreckers is the problem because they have Caleb Downs, they have Arvell Reese, they have the D tackle that I'm blanking.
In a weird way, I think Louisville might be better simply because I think that the schematics of it and like the coaching of it is stronger.
Fair,
but you're right. I think the talent on the defensive side of Ohio State is there to cause havoc and disrupt the game more.
Absolutely. And yeah, in Ohio State, a lot of that just comes down to them not being able to really keep a consistent defensive coordinator. Either way, a team...
And hiring one that nobody thought was going to work out this year and ended up...
Correct. And drilling the hire.
Yeah.
Either way, Ohio State is a more put-together team. They are a team that holds their water a lot better. Miami has proven that a meltdown is very much capable. And so I lean the Buckeyes here pretty significantly.
I lean towards Ohio State too. I'll say it right now because we're gonna talk. I know we don't always talk about them on this show because they're a little bit further away, but they're close enough and feel. We've had Bloomington on our morning show a few times, so we're gonna talk about the Hoosiers. I think that it'll be Ohio State and Indiana in the finals, and I don't have a problem with that.
I honestly, though, would take anything. Like, if you could do a bet on that being the final or the field, I would take the field, but it would be close.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
If you're going to
I think one of them's going to miss. I don't know who, and it shouldn't be. Like, it should be them because they're the two best teams in football, but I think one of them will miss.
In my head, it's like, okay, if everything – it's that thing where I'm like, okay, if I have to pick two teams, that just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking at it and I'm like, I mean, yeah, maybe this could happen, but then I don't know what happens after, and I'm weirded out by that.
Georgia's been so under the radar that they worry me.
I think Georgia and Oregon are the under the radars.
I think a lot of people are not giving Tech enough credit.
Yeah, Tech's weird because
if it wasn't Baron Morton, I'd feel better.
And I'll say this, Tech could easily surprise me against Oregon this week. I still think Oregon has that little bit of edge.
I do too, but if Will Hammond was the dude, I would feel a little bit better about it. But Baron Morton came along, and it is what it is.
Since you brought up Oregon and Tech, did you see the Dan Lanning interview where he's talking about where they should be playing these games?
Mm-mm.
So in his press conference, he said that instead of doing this game at a bowl, this should be another round at home stadiums. Like he's like, we should be playing this game in Lubbock.
Yeah, but then you have like basically the Georgia Tech BYU game is the Fiesta Bowl. Or and I don't like that.
Well, and I will say this: the one thing I really liked about his proposal was he was like, it should be playoffs were December 7th, or not playoffs. Conference championships were December 7th. That's Saturday.
Yep.
14th first round, 21st next round, 28th semis. Like, just do it Saturday.
Yeah.
Don't have this long break. And I was like, that's a really good point. And also, I like that because then you would have the 14th and 21st be home games.
Correct.
If people wanted to stay on campus,
into the last 4 games in these bowls. I go back and forth. And also, the problem with that schedule is we are getting expansion if they switch to that schedule.
Yeah, I know.
We're at 16.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Absolutely.
We might be at 24.
We could get all the way up to 68. Why not?
Honestly, let's just
68. Let's put them all in basketball arenas.
Or we start the season in the playoffs. Everybody is in the playoffs, and it's just eliminators down to the final. It's like
win and move on. If you lose, you get eliminated.
You get sent to the relegation bracket, and then you can go to you can do whatever. But yeah, that's something.
That's psychotic, but I like it. Yeah.
Win in Rome. There you go. First one's free. All right.
Nothing but the best ideas coming from you at Fox 19.
Oh yeah,
19 on the clock.
It's beautiful.
So let's look a little bit here at Bama and IU.
This could be so gross, or it could be really fun.
No, you're really right, because
it depends on which Ty Simpson we get.
Yeah.
If we get first half of the season Ty Simpson, this game electric.
Because you'll have two great quarterbacks.
Yes.
Going up against each other.
If we get Ty Simpson from the last month, it is a really, really good Indiana team versus an Alabama that can't pass or run.
Yes. I was going to say that's the biggest thing with Alabama is just that they cannot run right now.
They have no run game.
They're 101st in estimated points added when choosing to run.
I grew up watching TJ Yeldon destroy any defense in the country. It did not matter who was back there. We could be back there. We're averaging 3 yards per carry. That's just how Alabama did it.
Yeah.
And so, I am not one of these, Alabama's falling apart because Nick Saban's gone. No. Kalen DeBoer's keeping it together. But he did not retain the vibes of Alabama. There are very different vibes.
Yes.
And it is so apparent.
Saban had such a militaristic feel from that team. Not to the point of all right, everybody, high and tight.
Yep.
And make sure your uniforms all look the same.
But just like that. At.
Yeah, well, and it was just like that. You'd get yelled at. You'd get kind of beaten down that you have to come back against. We were talking about historical stuff. This is the first time these two teams have ever met, which honestly surprised me because in my head I was like, okay, well, why wouldn't Alabama have been Indiana, we'll play you in a home and home in, the 2000s and get 2 free wins for those 2 years?
because back at that point, college, D1, P5 programs, Indiana probably wasn't going to get paid that much.
Yeah,
for Alabama to go to Alabama
to get beat by Alabama.
Alabama can throw money at Grambling State.
Yeah,
way more money. Have the same amount of wins come out of it and elevate a different program that wasn't in what has always been the direct competitor to them in the SEC.
Yeah,
the SEC and Big Ten. So,
that is true.
But yeah, it is weird that it hasn't just happened. But Indiana hasn't been a good enough football program to be they might have met in this bowl game or that bowl game because they just played in different leagues.
Oh, well, I mean, I think Indiana has one of the lowest bowl appearances in the Big Ten,
exactly.
If not the lowest.
Yeah. They're not. They weren't a football school.
They were a basketball school,
and now they're a football school right now.
Majority football and in a weird spot with basketball, but we'll see.
Yeah, there's still enough pride behind the Hoosier, logo and whatever that they will never not be a basketball school.
It's the thing where it's kind of like a UC. I don't know if I'm going to make this as good of a comparison as I can, but it's all the Indiana schools playing each other in if Butler, Purdue, IU, Notre Dame, even Ball State a little bit, playing basketball, you don't go into that lightly.
Right.
You don't go into that game lightly. It doesn't matter which team you are and which team you're playing. You're just no, we got to lock in because anything could happen.
Yes.
Even Indiana State.
And
there were years where Purdue Fort Wayne upset IU and stuff like that. But I think when they were IPFW at the time. But it's kind of Ohio State could play a Toledo, a Miami, a Cincinnati, an Ohio, and something weird happens, and you're oh, that's a really tight and close game. From the football side. So the basketball side on Indiana, it's just everybody's going to be good.
Correct.
They're just not. They might not be a national champion, but they're going to be good, and you're going to be fighting each other for who gets the recruits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
IU's pass offense is its biggest strength, though. Obviously, Heisman winner Mendoza. is going to be the guy that you're going to target and try to shut down. I think that can happen because we saw it happen in that Ohio State game to limit him to 1 touchdown. Big accomplishment. And as you were mentioning, like this Bama team just can't run. Their best running backs are averaging 4 yards per rush.
I don't know why everybody's so freaked out about Mendoza like as a draft prospect.
What do you mean?
People don't seem that into it.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, I don't understand why.
Well,
he's really good. He's been a starter for 3 years now because at Cal and then in Indiana twice.
Well, it's like I saw Saints fans talking about Tyler Shook.
Like when they drafted him?
No, like in the last couple of weeks where they were like, hey, like because he's been starting for them.
Yeah, and he's like good.
Been playing really well. But people were like, oh, well, like why weren't we excited about it when we got him? And they're like, yeah, because he's like 26.
Because he's a 26-year-old broken player that had one good year.
And then somebody pointed out, like, well, Drew Brees came to the Saints when he was 26.
Yeah, but Drew Brees came to the Saints with 4 years of NFL experience.
Exactly, yeah. And it's a different vibe and feeling. And
either way.
Got some good pieces put around him. So
either way, Fernando is kind of like not obviously the same level of prospect. He's probably like a Jared Goff level prospect to me, who was also obviously a first-round pick or first overall pick, right in front of
Dante Moore.
No,
you're not putting him.
No. Jared Goff, who was the quarterback that went right after him. Carson Wentz. Thank you.
Yeah.
Gosh. So I guess Dante would be the Carson Wentz.
They were in the same draft?
Yeah, they went 1 and 2.
Wow.
And then Khalil Mack was 3, maybe.
Dude, sorry, you just hit me with the like, hey, time has been passing. Remember? And I'm like, oh yeah,
not Khalil Mack. My bad. Joey Bosa was 3.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes, this top 5. They're okay.
How insane was that top 5 draft?
What is the key here? Okay, so you have to go 7 picks. Pick 8 is the first time a non-Pro Bowler pops up.
Okay.
It is Goff, Wentz, Bosa. Zeke, Jalen Ramsey, Ronnie Stanley, DeForest Buckner.
Oh my gosh!
Jack Conklin breaks the streak,
and even he was not like he wasn't a bust. Yeah, like that's maybe not a first rounder, but
directly after him, Leonard Floyd and Eli Apple and Vernon Hargraves. So there it goes. Yeah, there it goes. Either way, I don't know why I did that, but point being, Fernando Mendoza in a year that to me, like coming into it. And really in the middle of it for a long time, did not feel like we had an actual signature quarterback. Fernando was always just there, stayed there, kept being there, and kept expanding upon it to the point that he is. It's not like, that is the quarterback of the year. That is the quarterback of the season. This is the guy that I'm going to remember when I look back. It's like Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, because it's kind of like Joe Burrow is my like 2019 season.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of who
else. You've got like Baker in 2017, 16, whatever year his Heisman was. Manziel. Like, Mendoza's was coming on late, obviously, because like Chambliss tried to take it for a minute. Mateer had it for a second before his thumb ripped off. But Mendoza has just been a consistently
it's the year of Mendoza, Sorsby, and Sayan, in my opinion.
But even Sorsby, like at a national level, not a lot of people are going to remember Sorsby.
We will remember him, and there is a group, a subsection of people like us who just like to remember guys who are going to be like, remember Brendan Sorsby? But that was kind of nuts in the Big 12,
and that's also going to get all jacked up.
Never got wins.
When he leaves, he's going to be remembered next year for Texas Tech or wherever he ends up.
Sure,
and it's going to be like that's the Sorsby year. It's going to be like Fernando this year.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I remember the Cal year where he looked pretty good, and like I understand why Indiana wanted to take a gamble on him, but it's the product that he ended up being at his next stop that really matters. I say all that to say he has been an engine for a very good offense, and has been the leader of a team that does not really have to use their offense that much because their defense is so freaking good. Bryant Haynes is, for my money, the best coordinator in the country.
Yeah.
Glenn Schumann, like he would be up there. Defensive coordinators.
Sure.
Bryant Haynes has got it figured out. The fact that he did not get a head coaching job is a boon for Indiana. The fact he'll be back next year in what will be a rebuild, because you lose Mendoza, you lose a lot of pieces. You need that consistency. And
if there's a coach that I would trust with building a squad to continue to compete like this, it's Curt Cignetti.
Mm-hmm. He brought both of his guys back. Shanahan's back on offense. Haynes is back on defense. Siggs obviously at the helm of it. Loves the portal. Yeah. And you've got to have guys that can get your guys ready quick. So your system's integrated. Indiana just feels like a team that clicks so well right now. They feel like they are in such a peak position that I struggle to imagine them losing, period, right now. Like they have taken the reins. They've earned the right to be the best team in the country right now.
I feel like they're in the spot of where Ohio State always was, where you can probably just say 10-win season
and feel good about it
without even looking at the schedule.
Yes,
because there's probably 2 games that might be weird, like that, and that's like the
Penn State game and something else.
Ohio State always has a Michigan game that is just you just never know, and then it's probably somebody in non-conference where you went into this year, it was kind of like, well, they could lose to Texas, they could lose to Penn State or Michigan, but so we'll say 10 wins, and it's kind of like I can believe that. And they'll probably exceed those expectations, but it hurts me to be so optimistic about IU.
Openly celebratory almost of how good they are.
And it's just because it happened so fast. I'm like, no, at least have had that 7-5 season where we're like, oh no, what's happening there?
Sorry, and then they're just for Clemson.
Yeah. Good curse. I like that.
Yeah, no kidding. But either way, give me Indiana in that game.
But
not picking against them.
I don't think I said the times for those games and things like that. So let's. Ohio State Miami is tonight, December 31st, 7:30 p.m. And Alabama Indiana is New Year's Day, 4 p.m.
And then before we jump into the high school side of stuff here, I do want to quickly say that just since we're not doing them at the Levy, these podcasts at the Levy anymore, wanted to just quickly shout out that the last episode of Bengals Now is on our air Thursday night. So tomorrow night when this comes out at 11:35, it will also be up on the website.
Yep.
I'm not entirely sure when.
Okay.
Full transparency, the website, I don't know how that all goes. But it will be up on the website eventually. Yoshi Voss was out there.
Dude's electric.
Maybe my favorite crowd of the year.
Oh, that's good.
Was a really fun. Hard to beat T. Higgins.
Yeah.
Because, T. Higgins serenaded an audience of hundreds.
It was Yoshi and no, he didn't.
Just Yoshi.
Just Yoshi. Okay.
Yes. But Yoshi was fantastic. And the crowd was into it. It very much had a homecoming game atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, because I was going to say, and I was only going to say, I only brought that up because I was like, well, wasn't it also? But
yes.
When the couple ones I stayed for T. Higgins, and then I had stayed for when it was Yoshi and Chase Brown together. Yes. And I was like, yeah, this is very clearly a good combo. And it was a great combo of the two of them, and also you can separate them and be like, oh, this is also just a great guy. Great guys. So
they are entertaining to the max. And Yoshi, we had a great time. The audience showed out for our last episode of the year, which meant a lot to me and everybody else involved in the show. So be sure to watch out for that. It was a really fun episode. And Jeremy Rao was unhinged.
What? Jeremy unhinged at a Bengals now?
He got very pumped about the grand finale.
Love that for him.
Yes, absolutely lunatic in the best way possible.
And one more thing I will add, because I committed so much to volleyball this year, I need to mention Brooke Baltimore, who I did an interview with from the Kentucky Wildcats earlier on in the season, did enter the transfer portal and recently committed to Louisville to be a middle blocker there.
Wild flip.
I will say this. I did not see that coming. I don't blame her for wanting to transfer. I know I've seen people talk a little bit in the after the game or after the matches of they should have put her in to into some rotations when one of the other players wasn't doing as well and things like that. I think she has a lot of promise, and I think that's a really good team. That it will be interesting to see what happens with Louisville because they are losing Kara Cressy, who is their setter and very solid and is going on to play pro now. Mm-hmm. So that'll always take a minute to build that connection between your setters and hitters.
Right.
But I think adding Brooke is going to be a good move, and I think the head coach there is very good with blockers, and so I think that'll be a good move for her, and hopefully, I'll just make the trip down to Louisville instead of Lexington for a catch up with her next year.
There you go.
Instead, so
a little bit longer, but
yeah,
worthwhile all this time.
Yeah, it's like 30 minutes more, maybe.
Yeah,
I kind of black out when I
is there a
make
cookout
those drives.
Louisville?
Is there a what?
Cookout?
No. I don't think so.
That's a point deduction.
That is. I will say I did. The last time I was looking at like going to Lexington, I was like, oh man, I gotta go cookout because I've never been there before.
Mm-hmm. So. I took Brady Williams because we had like a corporate training thing that we went to a year and a half ago, something.
Time ago, yeah.
And I took him to cookout for the first time, and he adored it. Come on, there's nothing better. Build one in Cincy. Come on.
Last talk about fast food, but I still want Zaxby's to come a little closer.
Yeah, Zaxby's doesn't,
because they are on the way to Indy.
Yeah,
and every time I go there, I pass it. I'm like, do I just get off here? And
you should. Zach sauce is untouchable.
It's so good.
Zach sauce is in the same category as cane sauce, and people are not ready to have that discussion.
It's in the same category, and the chicken is better.
Yeah, the chicken's definitely better. But I think anybody that's had both knows this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, and like I love them both.
Yes. It's just better season.
My family spent Christmas Eve with Canes. Like it was great.
Yes.
So,
all right,
let's talk about the Holiday Hardwood Classic.
Yes.
Media partners Fox 19.
Absolutely, and we're gonna get to get some involvement in the Holiday Hardwood Classic before too terribly long. Mm-hmm. But we obviously just had part one of the setup. 2 days worth of games. A whole swath of local schools. We sent Fox 19 cameras out to 2 of the games, and I want to talk about those 2 games first.
Sure.
I'm going to focus on 3 of them because there was 3 very specific standout moments to me that I wanted to make sure we hit on. First and foremost, Wyoming showing some really impressive signs of being legit. So they took on Centerville. Obviously, an out of region team. A good Centerville, I believe they are 4-2 right now. Beat them 55-46 in the Classic. That means Wyoming is 6-0. They are winning games, and they score an average of 61.5 every week, and then they allow about 36.8 every game. So, almost doubling up teams at this point in the season.
Yep.
Worth noting, in the Hills, Madeira is second in conference right now in conference standing. Wyoming beat them 62-26.
Jeez.
I know. Wyoming, they've got it figured out, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they have identified their star. If we want to go that far, because Kellen Wiley is a hooper. 23 points in the game against Centerville.
Okay.
10 for 16 shooting.
Beautiful.
So dang near 67% of the way home. 5 blocks, 2 steals. He averages 18.3 points per game right now. They also have, alongside him in the backcourt, Darren Gray, who is, I think, the perfect complement to what Kellen Wiley brings to the team. 11 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, 50% shooting, 1 for 1 behind the arc during the Centerville game, and then averages 13.8 points per game, 3.5 steals. He is a consistent bucket. He can distribute. He can board. He can play defense. That tandem on defense, I believe, averages like 6 steals together.
Yeah,
they're freaks. So being able to pair them together has been a shining light for Wyoming to this point.
Okay.
My big concern for them, if I'm allowed to have one at this point in the year,
you're allowed,
is their depth.
Okay.
So 4 guys contributed to their points total. Mm-hmm. Their bench combined for 2 shots and 2 free throws, and then there was 0 shots taken by the 5th starter. 4 of their guys average over 9 points per game. After that, your highest points per game average is 2.4 points.
Okay.
That is such a sharp drop-off.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm used to, 20, 12, 9, 7, 5, 4, 4, 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not 18, 13, 12, 9, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2.
Yeah.
It's so wild.
It's sharp. Yeah.
Yes, it is drastic.
It's one of those things where in my head, I'm like, well, it's high school. You can have guys play the whole game, and it's pretty fine. But I do think you're right in that you just need to get those, because then it's also a thing about like the future and what comes next year and things like that.
Yeah, and it's not a football thing where only one person gets to start per spot. Like, you rotate a lot.
Yes.
And to keep those energy levels up, and if you want to be a state title contender, which is obviously the goal for everybody,
for sure.
Having 4 guys, that is a lot of weight and a lot of relying in no injuries, in no foul trouble, in no exhaustion. The safety net is not out.
Yeah.
So something to watch with Wyoming, and I do not want to discredit how good of a win they came away with on the first Holiday Hardwood Classic. I think what, in my opinion, was the headliner of the entire event, and again, we got to send a camera down there, Princeton and Winton Woods girls game, because Strawberry Blankensee, Aaron Thomas, both players that we talked about in the top athletes you need to know about in the Tri-State this year. Very interesting results coming out of this. Very memorable and unmemorable situations, and I want to see how this all plays out as the season goes on, because I think it could be a learning point, especially for Blankensee. So Princeton won 53-47. Aaron Thomas in that game, 17 points, 5 for 13 shooting, 8 boards, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Covered her bases, did a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Strawberry, 7 points, 1 for 8 shooting, 5 for 6 free throw line, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. As a whole, Winton Woods shot 28% from the field. I take it that Princeton's defense is legit, as we thought it would be. I also think that Winton Woods is too good of a team for me to sit here and go, oh, that's dangerous. I think they just had a bad day.
Yeah.
I think they showed up to the Centos Center, weren't quite feeling as in sync as they needed to be.
Lights were a little too bright.
Right.
Yeah.
And early in the season, not quite got everything down how it needs to congeal, and it did not work out as well. What I will say, Princeton did a really good job of winning in the grit categories. So 38 rebounds to Winton's 30. 12 steals to Winton's 7. Both had 4 blocks. And then they also outgritted them to a significant degree in the third quarter, because without that third quarter, Princeton, even with Winton's tough day of shooting, Princeton probably doesn't win if they don't do what they did in the third. So Winton was up 22-27 or 27-22 at half.
Yeah.
Princeton then goes on to score 23 to Winton's 12 in the third quarter, and ends up 45-39 going into the fourth.
And then both score 8 in the fourth.
Correct. So it was such a paramount setup where there was like, okay, coming out of halftime, we know what changes we need to make. We know what we're focused on. Those changes, those implementations worked. Princeton was resilient. Winton wasn't ready for it.
No.
Winton was ready to out-defense them, and Princeton found a way around it. So kudos to the Vikes. Interesting growth point for Winton Woods, and I think that if we manage to talk to them at the end of the year, or we get if you were to ask them after the season's all said and done, presuming things go the way we expect them to, and they make a deep playoff run, they'll look back and say the Princeton game meant a lot to us, because we learned a lot about what we needed to grow and expand upon as the season goes on.
Yeah.
And then finally, we had a singular Kentucky team in this slate of Holiday Hardwood Classic setups, and I want to talk about them because they did a good job.
Okay.
Holy Cross had a big showing versus Taylor. Holy Cross has a lot of Cross River games coming up, which was exciting. I always think that it's fun to get those interstates.
You like just the little where it's like, yeah, they're just another neighborhood basically.
Correct. But like, you just in football you never see it. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's the GCL. It's reserved for the GCL South.
True.
Whereas here, it's like, oh, Taylor's playing in a cross the river game. Like, sure, let's do it. I say all that to say, Holy Cross won 66-44. They are now 10-0.
Okay.
Yellow Jackets currently 3-4. Their points differential really close. You know, very coin flip situational season right now.
Sure.
Luke Arlinghouse was a bucket for the Indians. 25 points, 10 for 14 shooting, 4 for 6 of those behind the arc.
Beautiful.
Dude had it going. I think that he liked playing in the Centos Center. Take notes. Dude turned on the magic whenever he was in the big one. Big rebound differential, 33-23 in favor of Holy Cross. And then I want to give, just quick, because I don't want it to be like, oh, look at what Holy Cross, which was, the big takeaway. But Noah Wentz from Taylor, I want to give him some credit for an efficient night. 15 points, 6 for 9 shooting, including 50% behind the arc, 3 steals. He's been a very good player for Taylor. He's been kind of one half of their leading set, and I think that he's going to have a pretty solid year as we go on.
So I just pulled up Luke Arlinghouse's Twitter page.
Yeah.
And there's a post from NKY Hoops, which was on December 23rd. And I believe when they were playing in Montgomery County. But somebody said the tweet is, that skinny Catholic boy can shoot, was heard from the Montgomery County stands as Luke Arlinghouse dropped 39 on them Monday. And he retweeted that. And I'm like, that's fun. I'm glad we can have fun with our. That
rules. And obviously he got the player of the game for the Hardwood Classic, in the Taylor situation. Dude can ball.
He's a baller.
Dude can ball.
I love that. That'll be a fun. I think Holy Cross will be a fun team to keep an eye on as we keep going through this season.
Yes. Yes. Because we don't really ever talk about their football. So like having that lane for them to just stand out in basketball is really fun because it creates a different vibe,
Well, that's always the beauty of basketball is that you have teams like Xavier where it's like, oh yeah, you just focus on the basketball season, maybe a couple other sports like volleyball this year, Gonzaga. Aren't they launching football at some point though?
I think it's rumored because they're in the Mountain West now.
Yeah,
but I don't.
UConn, a lot of those Big East teams and stuff like that. And so like I love it. I kind of like it when it comes to the high school level as well. But
yeah, so congratulations to the first portion of
Holiday Hardwood Classic winners.
Yeah, of the Holiday Hardwood Classic. We'll obviously be back with more as soon as they give us more to play with there.
Yeah. We know the
January
next
19th.
one's happening in January. And we will definitely want to cover that and talk about those games once those are coming up. But that is all that we have for this week.
Yeah.
So thank you all for joining us. As Jackson mentioned, Bengals Now coming out Thursday night, 11:35.
Yes.
You can also watch it on the Fox 19 website and through our streaming apps, Roku, Apple, and Amazon Fire under the Fox 19 Plus or Fox 19 Now Plus header. That's where you can also find all of our stuff, and as well you can find us on YouTube, and then subscribe on your favorite podcast app, whether it be Spotify, Apple, whatever, under the Fox 19 Now Sports feed, and you will get us and you'll get the gold standard once a week. But that is all that we have for this week, so thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good one.